Happy holidays, Faculty Factory listeners, and we wish you well. On this week's Best of the Faculty Factory podcast, we're featuring clips and snippets from some of the best conversations we've had over the lifespan of this podcast with regards to leadership. This is part 3 of a 3-part series that started the week of American Thanksgiving, roughly a month or so ago, with episode 2 coming your way last week. If you want to hear the full episode of these clips, go ahead and check the description of today's podcast. We will be back next Friday with a brand new episode as year 7 of the Faculty Factory podcast gets underway.
We all want to be leaders without recognizing that we already are leaders by virtue of being a faculty member in academic medicine. You may not have what you think is a lofty title, and yet you are a faculty member. And so unbeknownst to you, maybe you're not realizing you already are a leader just by virtue of the job you do. So let's be in this present moment, think about our leadership style right now where we are to be better leaders to our patients, to our learners, for our colleagues, for our supervisors, for anyone else in leadership. How can we exemplify and embody good leadership? So I thought I'd share with you our Johns Hopkins medicine leadership competencies. And I don't really know who I can credit with developing this really nice matrix. I think there are 12 competencies that we have in this matrix here that someone put together. I think it's maybe someone in organization development. Let me read to you the list of competencies, and there are 12 of them. Establishing relationships, developing talent, inspiring and motivating others, demonstrating emotional intelligence, acting with integrity, acting strategically, managing risk, navigating organizations, communicating effectively, promoting diversity and inclusion, setting a strategic vision, and holding self and others accountable.
Culturally, I want us to get comfortable with not just the what you deliver, but the how you deliver. And together in combination, those are the kinds of leaders we're going to want to follow, is the kinds of people that demonstrate that those attributes that we've identified in the competency model, so that not only are you delivering what we expect you to do in terms of your publication rate or your evaluation, your evaluations or RVUs or whatever it is. But again, if you're delivering RVUs and all your mocks are saying that person is terrible, or the nurses are complaining about how you talk to them on the floor, then you're not the leader we want you to be.
Right.
You're just not, right? You can talk about actually, in order for you to get that grant out the door, you need to be a little bit more collaborative with the finance team that's going to be putting the budget together. When you barked at them, they're not going to want to turn that around really fast. And we've got a grant deadline. So the importance of being collaborative in order to meet business objectives or, operational objectives, and being able to translate that for people.
To be successful navigating an organization, any organization, that's so highly matrixed, very complex systems of leadership and ownership. It's very complicated. It's not networking the way, again, maybe naively, I used to always think of it, because I'm an extrovert. Networking, next, got it, wrap. It's a wrap. You don't need to talk to me, Kim Skarupski, about networking. I talk to everybody. I love sitting in the middle aisle of the airplane because I could talk to everybody. I'm a networker. It's in my nature. But no, until I realized, and then in retrospect, this person was really making me think. It was such a great question that early in my career, because I'm a natural extrovert, I thought networking was almost kind of like the, hey, how you doing? I'm Kim. Hey, how you doing? What's your name? Where you doing? Where do you work? And it was almost like the just being able to talk to people. And that's not networking. And so we had a really nice, deep conversation about recognizing really networking it's an investment of understanding others' motivations and really demonstrating authentic and genuine interest in somebody, in that other person, building relationships. Where are their pain points? What are they excited about? What keeps them up at night? What are they worried about? What are their joys? What are their dreams and hopes? And that sounds like a lot. And I'm like, yeah, it's a lot. But that's real networking versus the superficial sticking your business card in somebody's face. And you're at a cocktail party and you're not making eye contact because you're trying to see if that other person walked in behind them and you got to meet that one and you got to shove your card in that person's face. That's not what I'm talking about. So I'm giving the story because you've motivated me to think that all competencies, whatever, as you mentioned, the rubric or the matrix, the format, many of us who've gone through, doctor school, they didn't teach us this stuff, but we're like, yeah, networking, got it. Collaboration, duh. I work in a team. Check, 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 check. No, it's not that easy. And because you spell out those behaviors and the knowledge and the attitudes and the skills, having a growth mindset really requires us to be more thoughtful and not to zip through something and say, hey, I have an MD. I get this. Really? Right. Maybe not so much.
Well, I'm smart about this thing. I must be smart about everything, right?
Yeah. And so, so that's why I think these competencies are so important and really give us pause for reflection on, am I as good as I think I am at that? Because I'll tell you, I wasn't.
Very simple definition for emotional intelligence is truly the way how we identify and control our emotions and along with others, truly not just making decision based on how we feel, regardless of not deciding or thinking about the consequences. So in simple word, emotional intelligence is truly being intelligent about our emotions rather than making the decisions instantly that can truly destroy their reputation.
So how do we do that, Farzana, knowing that I was recently on a call and it was a coaching conversation, and someone in the field who's been coaching for decades now said, what do you think the number one trigger is for physicians, like a stress trigger? Stress, we talk about stress as essentially unmet expectations. Unmet expectations result in stress. And he said, what do you think is a number one stress trigger for physicians? It's incompetence. So when physicians, and I would say almost any of us in academia, a trigger is when we perceive someone else as being incompetent or they're displaying incompetence. That triggers us. And I think that's a common, like, oh yeah, I bet you a lot of people's heads are nodding because we pride ourselves so much in being so uber competent that when we feel like someone is not performing up to par or they're doing their job poorly, haphazardly, that really grates on our values of being competent. So, Farzana, when we're in the operating room, in the lab, in the clinic, in a meeting, on a Zoom call, and we feel triggered by what we perceive as someone else's, in this instance, incompetence, how do we fight that knowledge of self when my emotion wants to go, are you kidding me? How do you tame that monster for you, and how do you advise other folks to work with that understanding and then dealing with and learning and working with our own emotions?
I believe, definitely, incompetence and other can be a reason for frustration for physicians. Along with that, we also need to be mindful that, every person is different. Every person's trigger could be different. Some people may be getting upset with 1 minute late. Maybe other person is thinking that, okay, that's fine. 1 or 2 minutes late is nothing. So truly, I should say, two things we need to be mindful. One is self-awareness, understanding that what makes us frustrated, what trigger us, because it could be different for any of us. And also it could be different every day. For example, when a person is hungry and getting upset with a different level of trigger compared to when a person maybe, going through a happy moment, just got a good news, maybe that time that person will not be very frustrated with the same trigger. So the rule number one will be understanding own self's trigger, what make us happy, what make us frustrated. That will be one thing, self-awareness. And second thing will be self-management, because the reality is we cannot control other people. we can always and we should take the ownership of our emotions, of our actions, everything. So second thing will be self-management. So if I summarize that, okay, how to implement emotional intelligence in any situation, the first two things should be first self-awareness and second self-management. One of the biggest thing we can always do during any stressful situation, that is taking pause. Because scientifically we know that instantly when we are stressed, it's just instantly we are making reactions. That's the fight or flight response. We cannot change it because this being human, and that's the nature safety to protect us from any danger. For example, if there is any earthquake, if we are in front of tiger, we want that reaction to run away instantly. At the same time, we cannot make those short-sighted reactions during our personal or professional lives. So that time we have to give some pause to our brain, to our body, to adapt in that stressful situation. So pausing is extremely important during any stressful situation. For example, if you are getting a frustrated email, never ever email immediately during that situation. Take some moment to think, then give the response, because one of the leadership lesson is that never ever reply to any angry email instantly. So pausing during the stressful situation is crucial to manage ourselves.
Hi, Faculty Factory podcast listeners. I'm Kim Skarupski. I want to share a great opportunity with you. We've created a faculty leadership collaborative of faculty affairs and faculty development leaders from around the country, and we're offering a leadership boot camp in January. This one is for early career faculty members. That is, faculty members at the instructor or assistant professor rank for about less than 5 years. The boot camp will be 3 hours a day for 3 consecutive days. So specifically, it'll be January 14th to 16th. That's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, from 2 to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time via Zoom. And the registration fee is only $299. The bootcamp provides overviews of key leadership competency areas developed and delivered by faculty members in academic health for early career faculty members in academic health. So with 9 contact hours, you'll learn about leadership principles that apply to yourself, in relation with others, and in complex organizations like ours. So this opportunity is open to early career faculty members in academic health institutions around the world. So please share with your friends. Let me tell you what the topics include. Overview of leadership competencies, self-knowledge and finding your voice, communicating for influence, difficult conversations and conflict management, organizational savvy, negotiating resources for yourself, promotion and career development, developing healthy academic habits, mentorship. This is on being a good mentee as well as being an effective mentor, resilience and work-life integration. And we also have a panel presentation that closes off the 3-day session of 3 recently promoted associate professors in different pathways in different institutions. So you get to hear from them about lessons learned and hints they'd have for you to how to grow your career and get promoted. So again, it's 3 days, January 14 to 16, 2 to 5 Central Standard Time. It's only $299. To register, go to the facultyfactory.org website. It'll be on this podcast description as well as on the website. And I want to also run through the names of who our presenters are this year. Dr. Karma Fouché from the University of Illinois in Chicago, Dr. Rachel Levine, Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, Dr. Hannah Lundberg at Rush University Medical Center, Dr. Susan Matulavicius from the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center, Dr. Elza Milona from Methodist University Cape Fear Valley Health School of Medicine, Dr. Bob Tillman at Baylor College of Medicine, and Dr. Valerie Williams from the University of Oklahoma.
So we have a broad panel of experts. My colleagues and I, Dr. Susan Chubinskaya and Nutan Vaidya, are so happy to bring this faculty leadership collaborative. We're all going to be working together around the country to provide more boot camps, small, condensed, efficient Zoom platform to do some high-level overviews. We'll be doing a mid-career in April. So we hope you sign up and share this opportunity with your friends. Talk to you later. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to Faculty Factory Podcast. The mission of the Faculty Factory is to build and support a community of leaders in faculty development who share tools, resources, wisdom, and encouragement in service to our faculty members, schools, and institutions. We encourage you to go to facultyfactory.org to find out more, get in touch with me, ask me any questions. Maybe you want to be interviewed on the podcast. Thanks for tuning in to Faculty Factory Podcast. We'll see you next time. The Faculty Factory podcast and website is sponsored by the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine Office of Faculty. For more information, visit facultyfactory.org.